Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome to my guide to the 2022 Halloween event. In this video I will go through all you need to know about this event, including the mechanics, the rewards and my thoughts on which rewards to go for, some strategies and all of that, as well as some other helpful resources. As you can see, I also have a written version of this guide. That's what I'll be using for this video to explain all of the stuff for this event. So if you prefer that or want to use that in addition to this video, you can find that linked in the description. As you can see here, I also have another video on this event on how to use tools. I uploaded that yesterday, so check that out if you want some more tips on how to use your tools. All right. One final thing before I start, if you do enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and a comment because it really helps me out. And also feel free to share it with your friends and your guildmates. All right, let's start by quickly looking at the rewards. The main building is the Tarot Card Caravans. This is a 5x4 building. It does require a road and it has 12 levels, so quite a few. But as we'll see later on, you shouldn't have any problems getting it fully leveled. It gives the usual population. It gives negative happiness, which most, if not all, Halloween buildings do. It gives coins as well. As for production, it produces 10 forge points per day, 30 goods, and 1 finish all supply production fragment. You need 30 of those for a full item, so each month you will get 1 finish all supply production, which is quite nice for events and so on. It also gives attack boost between 19 and 22, which is quite interesting. You might notice that this is a very low spread. Most buildings gives quite a lot less in lower ages compared to higher ages, but this time around these numbers are very close. That is both positive and negative. For lower ages, this is a big boost compared to what we usually get, but in the higher ages, it means it's quite mediocre when it comes to the attack it gives. So in the highest age, it only gives 1 attack per tile if we include roads, which is alright. It's not bad, but it's not great either. There are plenty of better buildings. But in lower ages, even all the way down in Iron Age, it gives 0.86 attack per tile, which is surprisingly a lot for the age compared to most other buildings. So both a good thing and a negative thing depending on where you are in your city. But especially if you are in a new one, new worlds were released not too long ago, this will be a really good addition to your city. I think most people should get it anyways, but if you are in the highest stages and you don't have a lot of space, perhaps you should drop this one. Anyways, we also have 2 new additional buildings. Both of these are limited. This is a new type of building that was added not too long ago. I believe the summer event was the first time. These are buildings that give very big boosts, but they only last for a small time. So, first we have the Daunting Tower. This is a 1x1 building, so very small. This is outdated. I forgot to update this, but earlier today they made a bug fix, I suppose, where they removed the road requirement for all limited buildings. So it does not require a road. It gives 50% attack boost for your attacking army from 1x1, which is quite a lot, but it only lasts for 1 day. After a day, it reverts to a simple decoration, only giving you 250 happiness and nothing else. So you get a lot of attack immediately, but after a day, you lose all of that attack again. I will talk more about it later on, but I do actually think there are some very interesting use cases for this. I don't really think it's a bad building, even though it only lasts 1 day. You can get this from the event pass, and you can also get it as a daily special. So you can actually get quite a few of these, which will be really interesting. Then we have the Haunted Tree. This one is 2x2. Again, no road required. That was removed earlier today. It produces 20 forge points in 2x2, which is quite a lot. And this one you can collect 5 times. So after you have collected it 5 times, it reverts to a simple decoration, giving you again 250 happiness regardless of your age. So essentially, you can look at this as 100 forge points, which is all right, I suppose. Not that great. This one you can only get from the calendar, so not really something we need to talk about too much. When it comes to the grand prizes and the event pass, this is as usual. We are familiar with this, so not really need to talk too much about it. You will notice here that the event pass, the first prize here is the Forge Fountain from the summer event, I believe. Now, the community manager on beta has said that there are or will be some changes to the Halloween prizes. So I have deliberately not written down what they are or what the beta ones were. You can go here to the wiki page to see. Oh, went all the way down. That was not. Anyways, here. So you can see all the event pass prices here that appeared on beta. But there will be some changes. The community manager has already said that. So yeah, we don't really know exactly what to expect. So yeah, it is what it is. Now in terms of the grand prizes, as usual, you get a piece of the main building every other grand prize, starting at number 1 essentially. This is kind of grand prize number 0. You get this for free in the beginning. So if you are on a brand new board, for example, you can get an immediate 25 forge points when the event starts, which can be quite nice. Anyways, so you get one every other grand prize, and then after 19 here, you get a level 1 building, and then it starts over again after 24 grand prizes, and moves back to number 1 here. Anyways, as usual, you get some pieces for the building from milestones. This has been switched to a Tarot Card Caravans level 1 building instead of a selection kit. That was a bug from earlier on the beta event, but yeah, it's essentially the same thing. So, daily specials. Let's talk about the daily specials and which I recommend going for. Quickly though, I see that I have a typo here, which is quite a big one. So how many daily specials can we get on average? Well, my estimate is actually 20, not 10. So I will update this and we'll talk about this more later on. But you can get quite a lot more than that. I will have to update that in a moment. Anyways, let's look at some of the best ones for attack first. And there are a ton of options when it comes to attack. We have the House of Horrors, Stage of Ages, Winner's Plaza, Abandoned Asylum, Sentinel Outpost, the new Daunting Tower, and if that was not enough, we also have Checkmate Square, Botanical Rotunda, and Royal Marble Gateway. We had so many that I decided not to include all in the comparison here. So, first of all, we have the House of the Wolf. It is 3x4. You need 7 levels. It's the House of Horror, level 7, one of the options. It gives between 6 to 15 attack and defense for attacking army. So both of those, depending on your age, which means in the highest ages, it gives over 2 combined attack per tile. So if you combine both the attack and defense value, it's over 2 per tile, which is really good. This is similar to the Heroes Tavern, the Eagle Mountain Reserve. So yeah, a very good building, a combination of attack and defense. In addition to that, you also get some forge points, goods, and the usual stuff. So yeah, a very nice building. Another option is the Stage of Ages. This one, it does not give as much per tile in terms of attack, but it gives a lot more per daily special, because you only need one of them, and each one of these will give up to 19% attack boost for your attacking army. So that's quite a lot. In addition, you also get some goods, some forge points, population, and happiness. So all around a really good building. I am sure all of you know this by now. So definitely an interesting option as well. You also have the Winner's Plaza, which gives quite a lot of attack in the highest ages at level 2. It is more efficient than the Stage of Ages. It gives more per tile in the highest ages. And it also gives more attack per tile than the House of the Wolf, if you do not value the defense boost as well. So if you only value attack boost, the Winner's Plaza will give more of that per tile. Then we have the Abandoned Asylum, which I always considered quite good building. But looking at the stats, it's actually quite outdated now, which, yeah, I suppose I just haven't had a look at it. It gives a decent amount of attack, but it's only up to 0.87 per tile in the high stages, which is not that good. It is 5x5, so quite big as well. It does give some nice secondary rewards in 11 forge points, some goods. But yeah, I think it's quite outdated actually, so I probably wouldn't go for this one. Unless perhaps you're missing a couple of pieces, in which case you can definitely go for it. Then we have the Sentinel Outpost, which is also a good option, as usual. You know why it's good. If you want more defense, this is probably the one to go for. Then we have the Daunting Tower. So, as I mentioned, it gives a lot of attack, it gives 50% attack boost, but it only lasts for 1 day. So why would you go for this? Well, I think there are two main reasons or use cases for this that actually makes it an interesting option to go for. So say you get 15, 20 of these, that's up to 1000 additional attack for 1 day. That's an insane boost. Of course, it only lasts for 1 day, but with that, you might be able to do quite a bit. So one use case might be to allow you to go past max attrition in guild battlegrounds. I think that might be possible depending on your situation, especially, for example, if you also move up some ages in the start of the battleground season as well. In that scenario, you might be able to, with some higher rate units, fight through max attrition with this additional boost. So that might be a good use case, and you would be able to use this for 2 days to go past max attrition, both on 2 sides of a reset. It lasts for 24 hours, not 1 day. So that's a use case. The other use case I think would be for people, especially people going for higher age units, but also people working ahead on the continent map. I think it would be good to combine this with rushing the continent map. So say, for example, you are in the future era, and you are camping there, slowly working your way on the continent maps using your hover tanks. Eventually, you might struggle a little bit depending on your boosts, so getting a lot of these, using all of them at the same time, and then rushing through the continent map with diamonds, which isn't actually that expensive, might be an interesting use case of this as well. So there are some interesting use cases. For most people, I probably wouldn't go for it, but because it is such an insane boost, even if it is temporary for 1 day, I think it is interesting. So again, interesting option. Now in terms of which building you should go for, here's my quick TLDR. If you want to maximize the efficiency, both for attack and defense, I would go for the House of the Wolf. If you want a lot quickly, I would go for Stage of Ages. If you want to maximize attack for your attacking army or attack efficiency, I would go for the Winner's Plaza. If you want to maximize for defense, I would go for Sentinel Outpost, and then with the situational Daunting Tower, depending on your needs. All right, moving on to forge points. Here we also have some interesting options. First of all, on beta, one of the daily specials was just straight out 50 forge points. If that is an option, it could be quite interesting on a brand new world, for example. There, if you get 50 forge points, I don't know, 20 times, that's a lot of forge points early on. So that might be interesting if that is an option on live as well. Then we have the Horror Circus. Now, this one actually didn't appear on beta, but we know that there was some bugs on beta when it comes to the daily specials. The first week on beta had incorrect daily specials, and this one probably would have appeared then. So I am quite certain that this will appear on the live server. It would be a surprise if it didn't appear. In any case, the Horror Circus, while it's not good for attack, it has some really good forge point designs. You can get upwards of 0.7 forge points per tile without requiring any roads. Now, if you want more information about that, I have this video from last year. You can check that out at 356 in that video. I talk all about forge point designs. You can see some of them behind here in the image. So check that out if you want to learn more about that. And now outside of that, there aren't really that many good options for forge points. I think the closest ones are probably these, which also give some nice attack boost. So Stage of Ages will give you the most forge points per daily special. So if you just want a lot quickly, that might be a good option. And of course you do get the attack boost. The Abandoned Asylum, it has quite alright forge points, 11 forge points, which is 0.4 per tile, which if you include roads, which is alright. It's not great, but it's alright. The House of the Demon, another option at level 7 for the House of Horrors, is also quite alright. It gives 6 forge points and 3x4 tiles, so yeah, it's alright. 0.44 forge points per tile. Again, you could just go for the House of the Wolf, even though it's mainly for attack boosts. It also gives 4 forge points, which is alright. I probably wouldn't go for the Final Knowledge though. So I guess my quick TLDR for forge points, I would either go for this, 50 forge points if it's an option, or the Horror Circus. I probably wouldn't go for any of the other ones, perhaps with the exception of the Stage of Ages, if you just want a lot quickly and also combine it with the attack. So, then we have a few situational ones. They're not really that many interesting ones. You have a Renovation Kit that appeared on beta, 6-hour Mass Supply Rush, and Mass Self-Aid Kit. Those appeared. The first two here can be good depending on your situation. No Wishing Wells or Shrink Kit appeared on beta, so I wouldn't expect any of those. When it comes to the Antique Stealer, the best one is the Stage of Ages. It gives quite a lot, so I would probably go for that if you're looking for things to sell to the Antique Stealer. Alright, so then we have my quest cheat list. As usual, this is not a full list of quests, but this is quests that I think people might be stuck on. This, as I said, it's not a full list, so if you do want to see a full list, you can check this link here. I'll also link it in the description. There you can see the full list, but yeah, here you have all of the production quests and so on, and some other ones that you might be blocked on. This time I also decided to add all the forge point ones, so these are the required forge points ones. You do need to buy 10 forge points in total for these two quests, and then also spend some forge points on these. Then you also have two optional ones where you can spend some forge points, or you can donate some goods to the treasury instead. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about event mechanics. Most people are probably quite familiar with the event. It is the same, pretty much the same as last year's event. It's the same as most of the recent archaeology events and so on, with one small addition. So if you are already familiar, feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps. All of that will be linked in the description. But if you are new, let me give you a quick rundown of the event. So here you have the minigame board. You have these tools here that you use to uncover rewards and move ahead in the board, or move towards the right of the board to uncover new tiles that might also have rewards behind them. So you have these three main tools. Those are familiar from previous years. You also have this brand new tool here. So let me go over all of these four in turn. Starting with the candle, this one here. This is used to clear out one tile of fog. So you can use this on any fog tile. It will clear it out. If there is a reward behind it, you will get that reward. And yeah, you just use those to dig ahead in the minigame. Then you have this tool here, the flashlight. This one, instead of using it on a tile with a fog, you have to use it on a cleared tile. And the way it works is that it clears all the tiles in the same column. So if I used one of these here, for example, it will clear all of the fog tiles in this column. This wouldn't be a good use case of it, but it would clear these two tiles. So yeah, there's that. Then you have the lantern. This one you also use on an already cleared tile. And when you use it, it clears all the tiles, all the fog tiles surrounding it. So say you use a lantern here, it will clear out these tiles surrounding it. So these two fog tiles there, and these three fog tiles here. Then you have the orb. This is a new one. It is a premium tool, which means you do need to spend diamonds to get it. The way it works is that you can use it on any tile and it will reveal what is behind every hidden tile. So usually you only have vision of tiles next to tiles you have already cleared. So in the beginning here, you can see that because I've only cleared these tiles here, I only have vision of this one. But with this, I can uncover all the other tiles and get a clear vision of what is behind them. And by doing so, you can probably make your plans better on how to move forwards. All right, so that's the different tools. Let's now talk a little bit about rewards. Actually, before that though, if you want to learn more about how to use tools, especially the 3 main ones, I already have a video here. I uploaded it yesterday. In that video, I go through how I use my tools. I show some examples. I comment on how I play, explain my choices and all of that. So if you're interested, you will find this video linked in the description. All right, so in the board here, there are quite a lot of rewards. All of these rewards here were hidden behind tiles. One small trick, you don't actually need to pick up these rewards manually. When they go out of the board here to the left side, you automatically pick them up. So when you clear a tile at the end here and get all the way to the end, a new column of tiles will appear. The entire board will be shifted once to the left, and all the prices on the left side here that goes behind here are automatically picked up. So you don't have to worry about that. Anyways, so there are 6 different types of reward. First, you have light bulbs. These are these things here, and those count towards the grand prize. So for each one of these you pick up, you get 1 progress towards the next grand prize. In total, you need 20 of these for the grand prize. Then next, you have pumpkins. The pumpkins, like this one here, will have a chance of giving you the daily special. These act as the normal chests in all events, so you can get some rewards, including a chance for the daily specials. More on those in a moment. Then you have tools. So in addition to getting tools from tickets and so on, you can also find tools in the minigame. Here you can see that there are 2 candles in the minigame that I've uncovered, and also 1 lantern here. So I can pick those up and use them again, so that's nice. Then we have toys, which are these 2 here, and there are 8 different versions of them. Each toy, again I will explain this a little bit more later on, has a small quest line of 5 quests. From these quests you get some tickets, 20 in total, and also a final reward. But yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about those in a moment. Then you also have stickers, which are these things here. Those count towards the calendar. That's also the same as last year. So for each day, if you pick up a sticker, you will get the daily sticker, which will give you a reward. If you pick up a daily sticker every day, you get a big reward at the end. Again, I'll talk about that in a moment. Then finally, you can't see it on this board here. You can also pick up the occasional avatar or icon if you check out the video that I linked. If you check out the video, you can see me getting one there. Now, I did mention that you can get these tools here from tickets. So the currency of this event is tickets. You get those the usual way through quests, logging in, milestones, and so on. In total, you can get 7,559 tickets. Quite an odd number, but that's because of the milestones. You get 333 and then 666, the devil's number, of course. And yeah, with those you get some tickets. Now to buy tools, you can buy tools in a few different ways. The main way you're going to buy tools is by buying a big bundle. So a big bundle of tools will cost 395 tickets, and from that you get 20 candles, 8 flashlights, and 8 lanterns. So when you buy tools, you always want to go for this big bundle for 395 tickets. At the end of the event, when you are out of tickets, you can't spend the remaining on either the smaller bundle or on individual tools, but until then, always go for the big bundle. It's worth much more than buying individual ones. Then we have the orb, which, as I mentioned, costs diamond. It costs 25 diamonds, which isn't that much, but of course it is still some diamonds. So yeah, there's that. All right, let's talk a little bit more about these in detail. So I've gone over tools. Let's talk a little bit about pumpkins. So there are 12 different pumpkins split into 3 different groups. We have charmed pumpkins, traditional pumpkins, and rotten pumpkins. These are just simply different values of pumpkins. So the charmed ones will have a higher chance of giving the daily special than the traditional, which have a higher chance than the rotten ones. Now, unlike most events, you can't actually choose which pumpkins or which chests you go for. Here you simply pick up whatever you get. So, based on my testing, I'm not sure if this is 100% correct, but based on my testing, it seems like 55% of the pumpkins are rotten, 25 traditional, and 20 charmed. Again, I don't know if that's 100% correct, but it is based on a decent sample size of pumpkins. Now, this year, we have quite a big change when it comes to these pumpkins. All of them have received a 5% additional chance of giving the daily special. That means that from last year, the pumpkins gave between 5 and 10% chance of the daily special. Now they give between 10 and 15% chance of getting the daily special. That's a really big jump and actually means that we get a lot more pumpkins this year. So that's a big deal. Now there is one interesting case here. This pumpkin actually had 16% chance in game, but I do believe that is a bug, and I think it's most likely to be 13, because a 5% increase from last year would be 8 plus 5 equals 13, and that also makes sense compared to the other pumpkins in the same group. So I think it is 13, or at least was supposed to be 13. If it does end up being 16 on live, I will update this. It's not a big deal, but yeah, it's probably 13, I think. Anyways, moving on to toys. So here we have toys. You have 8 different types of toys that you collect from the minigame. Each toy has a small quest line, as I mentioned, of 5 quests, and you can actually start all of these 8 at the same time. So at the same time, you can have one main quest line and up to 8 of these toy quest lines, so quite a lot of quests. And a lot of these toys do have the same quests, so it might be good to do multiples at the same time. And as you complete one or complete multiple toys or a quest at the same time. That's not a big deal, but yeah, you can do all of these at the same time. Now here you can see how many of each I have. After you have completed a quest line, you can restart it again and get the rewards again. So yeah, for each toy, you can get 20 tickets. You get 5 for each of the first 4 quests, and then you get 1 individual reward for the final quest. Those are written down here. But to be honest, nothing really exciting here. The main thing or main reason you do these is to get the tickets. In addition to that, if you complete a full set, you get this collector's reward. By that, I mean if you complete 1 of each of these toys, you will get this collector's reward. That reward gives you 30 candles, 10 flashlights, and 10 lanterns, which is quite a lot of toys, roughly equivalent to 570 tickets, so quite a lot. Now, for each additional set of toys you complete, you will also get this collector's reward again. The first time you get it, you get an icon here. After that, you only get the toys, but to be honest, that's the main reason you want to do it. So, if you are able to get multiple sets of toys, here for example, I have 2 of each at least, so I could complete this twice. I would get these rewards twice. So all of this means that if you do a lot of these toys, you will be able to get a lot of additional tickets this way. Based on my testing on beta, I had to spend around 1200 to 1500, 120 to 150 tickets per toy. So using those numbers, you should expect around 50 to 65 toys from the free tickets, which means that if you complete all of those, you're looking at well over 1,000 additional tickets simply by completing those toys. Now, in addition to that, for each collector's reward you complete, as I mentioned, you get the equivalent of 517 tickets worth of tools. So if, like me, for example, you're able to complete 2 of these sets, you get an additional 1,000 here. So I think it's quite likely or quite possible to get over 2,000 additional tickets from toys, so quite a big deal. This image here, actually, I didn't even spend the full free amount. I spent 7,100 instead of 7,500 something. So yeah, this year the chance of getting toys has definitely been increased compared to the last year. So I do think you have a much higher chance of getting multiple sets this time. You are still not guaranteed, but I do think it is likely that you will be able to complete at least 1 or 2 of these toy sets. Especially if you complete all these toys, you will get more tickets to spend, which will give you more toys and so on. So I do think there is a high chance of completing multiple collector's rewards. But again, not guaranteed. Anyways, moving on to the calendar. This is probably one of the few downsides of this, or negatives of this event. Compared to last year, the calendar has been nerfed a little bit. The chance of getting stickers has been decreased. It's still possible to get it, but they have been decreased. Anyways, if you don't know how it works, each day you pick up a daily sticker. If you pick up a daily sticker, you get a reward for that day. If you pick up a daily sticker every day, all 21 days, you will get this calendar collection reward. This one gives you 2 main building selection kits. It gives you the new haunted tree, which, as I mentioned, gives 20 forge points per day for 5 days. So essentially 100 forge points. It also gives straight out 200 forge points, 100 goods, and an avatar. Now that's all right, but personally, I don't think it's worth spending for the calendar this year. Now, in terms of how many tickets you can get, or stickers, sorry, you can get, based on my testing, I got 1 sticker every 320 to 340 tickets, which means that for the free tickets, you probably will not get much more than 20 to 25 stickers. You can also get a Joker sticker every day from the daily challenges. So if you complete those, that is an additional 4 daily stickers. But yeah, even with those, you can't really get as many as last year. Still, it is possible to complete the calendar. You only need 21. So even if you are unlucky here, you can get up to 4 additional ones from the daily stickers. And if you complete toys to get even more tickets, you will definitely be able to complete it if you want to. But as I'll go over a little bit later on, I don't think it is worth going for it. Alright, with that said, let's move on to event strategies. And there are 3 main ways to play this event. First of all, you can focus on grand prizes, you can focus on daily specials, or you can go for everything, basically going for both grand prizes and daily specials. Now, if you are going for the calendar, that doesn't actually change how you play. It only changes when you play. So all of these strategies are the same, regardless of if you're planning to go for the calendar or not. Just wanted to mention that. Now, before going over the differences, all of these have something in common. You should always pick up tools in the minigame. That's always worth it. You should always pick up toys if you plan to do them. If you're not planning on doing the toys, if you plan to just let them sit in your inventory, you should just ignore the toys. If you are going for the calendar, then you should pick up the stickers as well. If you're not going for the calendar, no point picking up the stickers, unless you want the daily special reward. Anyways, so what's the differences between these? It's probably quite obvious, but if you focus on grand prizes, you should focus on picking up light bulbs and ignore all the pumpkins you face. You will still pick up quite a few pumpkins as you move ahead, either incidentally as you use your tools or as the only option as you move ahead in the minigame, so you'll still pick up plenty of pumpkins. The second one, you do the reverse basically. You focus on picking up pink pumpkins and you ignore light bulbs. Again, you will still pick up plenty of light bulbs, but you are not going out of your way to pick up light bulbs. Then we have everything, where you are simply going for everything. You go for everything. Avatars, you could go for those depending on what you want. Don't have to. And depending on how you play, either go for or ignore the toys and the stickers. But other than that, just go for everything with this third strategy. Now, in the upcoming days, probably either later today or tomorrow, if you're watching this as I record it, so yeah, pretty soon I will be uploading some videos to my channel of me playing with these different strategies. So on beta, I split my currency into 3 chunks. So with each chunk, I played with one of these strategies. So I will upload that to kind of show you how these might play out. So yeah, stay tuned for those. I will link them here when they are ready. I will link them in the description when they are ready. So if you're watching this video a few days after the event has started, those should already be out right now. Anyways, let's talk a little more about these strategies. Now, as I say here, it's quite difficult to put numbers on which is best. Based on my testing, I do have some numbers here, but it's simply based on my testing. Quite a lot of variance here, so they might not be too accurate, but I think they're probably fairly accurate, perhaps. Anyways, using my numbers from my testing, when I went for grand prizes, I had to spend around 19 tickets per light bulb, and I had to spend around 24 tickets per pumpkin. When I went for daily specials, the number of tickets per light bulb went up to 25, but the number of tickets per pumpkin went down to 43. So here you can see the difference between these two. When I went for everything, the number of tickets per light bulb was slightly higher than going for grand prizes. The number of tickets per pumpkin was slightly higher than going for daily specials, but not by a lot in either of these cases. Now, if that's accurate or if I was simply a little bit lucky when I tested this, I don't know. I do believe it's fairly accurate, but I wouldn't be too sure. Still, I do think this kind of illustrates the reasons for going for each. This one, of course, will give you most grand prizes. This one will give you most daily specials, but this one will give you a little bit less of each, but definitely better compared to. So here, better light bulbs than going for daily specials, and better pumpkins than going for grand prizes, and so on. So which one would I go for? Personally, I am planning to go for strategy number 2, and I will also explain a little bit later on why. But it's also perfectly fine to go for strategy 3. It's a little bit safer. I would not focus on grand prizes in this event. I think that if you are going for grand prizes, I think it's much better, or for additional grand prizes and so on, even then I think it's better to focus on everything than going for grand prizes only. So let's talk about if you can get the main building fully leveled for free. The quick answer here is yes, it's fairly easy to get it for free. So I'm going to do some comparisons using these numbers here. So, and I'm going to do this using 2 amounts of tickets. First of all, the 7,559 free tickets, and then also 9,000 tickets, which I actually think is a fairly conservative estimate of the additional tickets you can get from toys and incidents. So, based on those, when going for grand prizes, using my numbers, you would be able to get roughly 20 grand prizes, almost 20 here. Going for daily specials, that drops down to 15. Going for everything, almost 19 grand prizes. So that's quite a big drop, but yeah, still. Then with 9,000 tickets, here you're looking at 23.5 grand prize roughly, going for grand prizes, 22.5 grand prizes going for everything, 18 grand prizes going for daily specials. So how many grand prizes do you need to get the main building fully leveled? You need 17 grand prizes, or 340 light bulbs. And as you can see, with the exception of this, all of the other ones are well above that. So if you are going for daily specials, and if you only spend the free tickets, then you will probably struggle and you will not get all you need. But if you also complete toys, you will definitely get enough tickets to be able to get the remaining grand prizes you need. So I think that as long as you do the toys, you can definitely get the main building fully leveled going for pumpkins. But if you want to play it a little bit safer, then I would go for everything. Here you have plenty to spare in order to get the next grand prize, or in order to get the main building fully leveled, and you also get a decent amount of daily specials. So I think that's perfectly fine to go for either of these strategies, either going for daily specials or everything. Again, I wouldn't go for grand prizes because it's not necessary to get the main building fully leveled. Now, before I talk about if you should go for the calendar or not, let's talk about how many daily specials you can expect. And here's kind of my what I said earlier on, the typo I had earlier on. So, as I mentioned, all pumpkins have received a 5% daily special increase, which is quite a big deal. If the distribution that I kind of arrived at based on my numbers, if that is accurate, that means that the average chance has gone up from 6.7% last year to 11.7% this year, so almost twice as much as last year. So that's a really big boost. Now, I have made a simulator here, which I'll talk about in a moment, but using that, the number of expected daily specials, again, using these two number of tickets, is, when focusing on grand prizes, either 13.8 or 16.4 daily specials. When focusing on daily specials, those numbers go up to 20.5 and 24.5 with 9,000 tickets. And going for everything, there are 19.6 and 23.4. So as you can see, going for either of these strategies here, with and going for toys, you should be able to get over 20 daily specials on average. Now, with that said, this has quite a big spread. So if you want to play around with your numbers, you can use this simulator here. So this first number here is the number of tickets you can expect. So let's play around a little bit with it. Let's go up to 10,000. I think that might be on the higher side, but I think it should be possible still. If you get 2 toy sets, I think that this is possible to get. And if we say instead of 43 tickets per pumpkin, let's go a little bit up to 45, which was my number going for this strategy. Here I have the spread of pumpkins. You can change those if you want. But yeah, I think those are quite accurate. Just make sure these equal 1, these chances. Then simply press run and it will calculate some chances. So based on these numbers, lucky, 22 or 222.22 expected pumpkins. And from those, around 26 expected daily specials. But as we can see here in this plot, quite a big spread. So even though around 26 is average, you can see that there are still plenty of people that either gets well below that or even well higher than that. So depending on your luck, there's quite a big spread in what you might be able to get from this event. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind as you play. And if you want to play around with this simulator, it's on the written guide. You can see it here. So yeah, just simply play around with it. Anyways, using those numbers, I do not think it is worth going for the calendar. So first of all, it is not required to get the main building fully leveled, and by going for the calendar, you sacrifice a lot of the good daily specials. You will still get the same number of daily specials, but those daily specials will be spread across too many or a lot more different daily specials. So, as I mentioned, you don't really get that many daily stickers, probably around 30 or so if you get toys and so on. So to complete the calendar, you should probably go for, sorry for that, you should probably go for or get the daily sticker at least 16 days. So you get the daily sticker 16 days, spending tools 16 days to get it. You get 4 stickers from the daily challenges, and then 1 sticker, you need 1 more sticker, which you can get from Joker stickers, which you pick up from the minigame during one of these days. You can play it a little bit less safe, getting the daily sticker 15 days, perhaps even 14 days, and get the remaining ones from Joker stickers. But still, you will definitely have to spend tickets on well over half the days, meaning you have less to spend with the days with the daily specials you want to use. So I do not think it is worth going for the calendar. It is not required, and doing so will lose out on quite a few good daily specials. Still though, if you do want to complete it, I recommend checking out my archaeology event video from last year. In that, I went into detail about how to optimize for daily specials while still going for the calendar. So you can check that out with this link here. The numbers in that video will of course be incorrect for this event, but the theory behind what I do, that all of that is accurate. So you can check that out if you want. All right. Finally, let's end this video by quickly talking about some diamond costs. This year, the diamond price has actually been lowered a little bit, or it's the same price, but you get more for it. Last year, you only got 500 tickets. Now you get 625, so that's quite a nice change. Using those numbers, and let's use 20 tickets per light bulb, which was what I got when I went for everything, for all the rewards. With those, you need 400 tickets per grand prize, which means 1,276 diamonds per grand prize on average. You need 2 grand prizes per kit for the main building, so around 2,500 diamonds per additional kit. That means that to get a full additional main building, that's a typo there, to get a full additional main building, full additional Tarot Card Caravans, you need 24 of those grand prizes, which is around 30,500 diamonds. Now, that's assuming you don't do any toys. If you do toys, complete those, you will get quite a few tickets back. And based on some numbers that you can go through here if you want to, it drops down the price per grand prize to around 1,100 instead of 1,250, which drops down the price to around 26,500. Of course, you will also perhaps get some toy sets from these, which you can get 570 tickets worth of tools for each of those. So for each toy set you complete, that is an additional 1,800 reduction in the number of diamonds you need. I think you are likely to get at least 1 or 2 from the additional tickets you spend going for a second or an additional Tarot Card Caravans. So I think that means that the actual price, if you do complete the toys, should be around 23,000 to 25,000 diamonds. Now that said, the second Tarot Card Caravan will probably be even cheaper, because with the toys you get from the free tickets, you are probably looking at something like 2,000 additional tickets. So around 6,000 diamonds worth of tickets. So I think the second Tarot Card Caravans might not cost more than 20,000 or even lower than that. So I think the first one probably slightly less than 20,000, and then beyond that, each one will probably cost something like 25,000. So yeah. Now, when it comes to daily specials, again, you can pause this to see the numbers if you want to, but essentially around 1.1 to 1.2 thousand diamonds per daily special. That's not a great price. It's not the worst either. It's all right. I don't think it's that great. The price for the second building or additional buildings is also not that great. So overall, I do think it's an alright event to spend diamonds on. There are some good daily specials, but I would probably personally save them for a future event. The winter event that is currently on beta looks quite good, and the Forge Ball event will probably be good as well, which should be coming up in January. Then we have the St. Patrick's Day event, which also might be good, and so on. So I don't know. I don't think I would spend my diamonds on this event. I would probably wait a little bit longer and spend on a future event. All right. So there we are. 50 minutes, way too long, but hopefully you found this helpful using the timestamps and all of that. Now, before I end this video, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Komsar, Fort Prefect, Lorden, Rocknobin, Kim Kelly, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Simonat, JT, the Rev, Merrick B, Hugo Kant von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Judith Denves, Filda, Rush, Susan Weiss, Megarok, Rocco, Eric, Merton Emrys, Henrik der Klebe, Mattia, Obshidi Obsessed, Rav, Kim, Adaril, Mike, Wolfboy, Flavis Belisarius, and Atomic. Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks for watching. Take care, and I will see you in the future.